The year is 2020. COVID is prevalent, so everyone is stuck inside. We're all bored, so obviously hopping onto YouTube is like the go-to during lockdown. Now, I'm not afraid to admit it, I was super into the Dream SMP during 2020 and 2021. Not in the traditional sense though. I never really watched streams or videos of like gameplay or anything. I was more interested in the community. Saddest, CG5, and of course, the subject of this video, Derivakat. Derivakat, who actually has a degree in music production, has some of her earliest work based around covers. Although her earliest public video is actually a remix of the Donkey Kong rap and Iggy Azalea's Black Widow. One of her more popular creations is a remake of the Nier Automata soundtrack, which she dubbed as the Music Box version. In Derivakat's own words, she wanted the version to reflect the game's theme of being beautiful and delicate, but strong and moving. I think that is really beautiful and reflects on Derivakat as an artist, as she finds something that means a lot to her, gets inspired by it, and creates something new in her own style. From then until late 2020, Derivakat will continue creating covers, remixes, and some original songs in between. Then on December 29th, Derivakat and Kiba would release the song Blue, a completely original song based off the events of the very popular Dream SMP. The original video is currently sitting at 3.2 million views, while the Spotify release currently has over 12.5 million streams. I think it's safe to say that the gold mine was sort of discovered here, as many other Dream SMP related songs were created afterwards. Some big hits including Syndicate, Ain't No Crying, and Turn Back Time. One song in particular, 4am, is one that really stuck with me at the time, and I didn't really know it was related to the Dream SMP for quite a while. Derivakat's vocals, between the harmonizing and beautiful relation with the instrumental, can really put the listener into both the mindset and the vibe of the song. 4am will always be a personal favorite of mine. After 4am, Derivakat put all of her Dream SMP related songs into an album called Songs of the SMP, which I think was a really cool creative decision and was a neat way of separating those songs from her other original work. Speaking of, I know a lot of people already say this, but a lot of her non-Dream SMP related work is not talked about enough. Some that you should check out are I Need You, Under the Weather, and Don't Wanna Lose You. Following Don't Wanna Lose You, Derivakat continued to make plenty of Dream SMP songs that became huge within the fandom, like the 70 vocalist Technoblade song Voices, the Tubbo-inspired upbeat song Honey, and the CG5 and Saddest collaboration Captain's Call, a personal favorite of mine. Then, on August 16th, 2021, Derivakat would release her current #1 most popular song on Spotify, Revived. From how I understood it, it's a very powerful piece revolving around anger and vengeance. I've seen a lot of people mention how they enjoy the song, who said they aren't a part of the fandom, so I think the legacy of Revived kind of speaks for itself. Most of the Dream SMP songs released before Revived, including Revived, were then put into Records of the SMP, the second SMP album. The SMP related songs started to slow down at this point, which, in my opinion, was a good choice as Derivakat could spend more time putting her original work in the spotlight, which have personally always been the ones I've resonated with more anyways. Some heavy hitters are New Year's Eve, Pomegranate Lips, Viper, Let Me Let You Go, Nightmare, Eden, Bite, and Cycle. Regarding Cycle, it's part of Derivakat's first archive EP, Anger. What does that mean exactly? Well, a recent project of hers is the rebranding of her character as an archivist, whose goal is to live among humans, document their emotions, and present her findings in the form of music. This leads me to present to you the greatest song of all time, Headcase. Haha, bet you didn't see this part coming. Well, unless you looked at the chapters, and I guess you did. But anyways, the whole first part of this video was just an intro. Welcome to the real deal. If you're not trying to listen to me psychoanalyze an entire song, feel free to skip to this part. I'm here now to talk about Headcase, shown previously on MeCore as my #1 most listened to song in November. This single song brought me back to Derivakat after not listening to her since like 2021. It's the song that speaks the most to me personally, and has been able to represent a majority of my current problems accurately and wholly. Sit back and relax as I give you my personal analysis of Headcase.
It's a fragile state of mind, like I'm losing sense of time, and the world is moving on while I am left behind.
I find the idea of perception of time being a mindset or being only in your head interesting, because I feel like it's an idea most people can easily relate to. Seeming to not have enough time to do what you want, yet those around you have all the time they need. I especially resonate, personally, with the world is moving on while I am left behind, since it's the exact feeling I have towards my peers. I sit on my ass all day doing nothing while my friends, physically, while doing things like working out, and mentally through therapy and emotional control, are far ahead of me.
It's a never-ending wait for a sign to change my fate. Like I'll never reach the end of this forsaken chase.
These lines are exactly why I fell in love with Headcase in the first place, because it puts into words the emotions I have towards myself. I have the idea that I need a reason to turn my life around, basically. For some reason, I just can't work on myself just for the sake of becoming a better person. I need a sign first to do so. I think that's a big reason motivational influencers have gotten so popular recently, because they broadly tell their audience that they need to fix themselves, when it's probably something their audience could just do on their own. Let me not gloss over the forsaken chase part though. Obviously it can mean a lot of things, like wealth, happiness, fulfillment, or any other way to perceive success and accomplishment. Again, it's one of those things that is told a lot in popular/mass media as something that you need to get to, but realistically every forsaken chase is different depending on the person. If you do know what your goal is, this line can also just mean the fear of never reaching where you want to be. Dreading that, no matter how much work you put in, it doesn't guarantee a good outcome. Unfortunately, I think that it's behind the common saying, that's just the way life goes.
So don't tell me there's no reason why there's no finish line, no journey I'll enjoy along the way. My feet stuck in the sand, my heart left in my hand. These symptoms taking hold won't go away.
At face value, these first three lines could be Derivakat actually saying, don't tell me that there is something at the end. Because, in a way, it's invalidating her current feelings at the moment. Why would she want to tell you her problems if you're just gonna say, well, it'll be better later down the line? That's not a solution, just a distraction. Of course, that's only one way to see it. Another possible meaning I noticed was, don't tell me that there's something at the end, as an excuse. Still very similar to what I said earlier, but I see it more as, if you give me an excuse for my problems, I won't take responsibility for them, and therefore never work on fixing them. If everything will be fine at the finish line, why would I change my ways? So don't tell me that there is one.
They say that I'm a classic head case, diagnosed with terminal velocity. Just can't escape, cause I'm uninsured. I'm a classic head case, a victim of the world's relentless apathy. Bound to my fate, and I can't be cured.
This part of the chorus, geez, it's so good. I've seen it as the main connection people have to this song, a literal diagnosis that someone can relate to with no way to escape from. And I think that's really cool that a lot of people can resonate with Headcase in that manner. Personally, I don't have the same relation, so I don't want to make any assumptions down that avenue. In my mind, this part is a metaphor using an illness to connect to a lot of people's views of normalcy. I don't know if that makes a lot of sense, but I'll try my best to explain. Like I've mentioned before, the song weighs the feeling of being told, that's how life is, there's nothing you can do about it. Hence the classic part of being a classic Headcase. There's a huge sense of hopelessness throughout this piece. I also really like the use of apathy, as it's much more than a feeling of negativity. I've been told before that apathy is more so the complete lack of emotion, which in my line of thinking is much worse than being fed negativity. You aren't being fed anything at all. The world is unsympathetic. They don't care enough to give you any kind of emotion, positive or negative. It is just such a beautiful set of lines and ties the song together so well.
It's the stars I don't wish on, it's the way I don't move on, and the constant thought that one day we will all be gone. It's the fleetingness of life, burning time and wasting nights, like I'm balanced on the edge, then plunging from the heights.
The first two lines here are about missing out on making the most of opportunities that you come across. And honestly, I don't think there's anything much deeper than that here. But the line after that, the constant thought that one day we will all be gone, really stuck out to me because it's a common line of thinking among those with excessive depression and anxiety. The sort of nothing matters type of mentality is very overpowering and disorienting. I also related a lot to the fleetingness of life, burning time and wasting nights. Wasting time is a very real fear of mine and something I worry about plenty. I mean, this video right here was supposed to be done a week ago now, but I didn't put the proper amount of time into it. In conjunction with time wasting, getting too comfortable and then losing that sense of order or control, either through an unseen event or just accidentally breaking a habit, feels terrible. Not having control of your life is already a pretty bad feeling, but it's usually when you thought you were balanced on the edge and then lose that balance is when it hurts the most. After this part, the chorus plays again, and then after that, there's this sick guitar solo. It kind of gives you time to think about how, self-described by the creator, at its core, this song is about anger. I've seen people talk about how the different types of angers are shown in the EP, and I want to show off this really cool interpretation I came across. Tool is explosive anger, the one you can easily identify and the one that's more common. Cycle is a passive aggressiveness, more hidden behind your words and actions. Smile is the silent anger bottled up inside of you, never really shown to anyone else. Yet Headcase, it seems not everyone can really agree on its interpretation. But I think that's what makes it such a perfect song. Your angry hopelessness isn't the same as everyone else's. You can connect to Headcase from your own angle and view of the world. The instrumental break starts and ends, and then there's this final bridge. A lot can be said here, but I think the simplest approach is the best for this part. There's the feeling of not getting anywhere, or not getting very far at least. Then the struggling for normalcy, even though we've been told multiple times during this song that this is the normalcy. We are a classic Headcase. And finally, to top it off, the guilt you feel for even having these emotions, being told that it doesn't even matter, this won't last. Then the chorus plays one last time, and with that, Headcase is over. Thank you for listening to my little mini analysis of Headcase. I'm sure you could tell, but this piece really does mean a lot to me. I kinda wish I'd written my original thoughts way back when I first heard this song in November, but I tried my best to connect with that version of myself from back then, and even did some relating to how I feel now. I appreciate you for taking the time to listen to it. I think I got a little too excited when talking about Headcase, because I forgot to talk about Derivakat's most recent project, God Complex. A group of 4 vocalists, God Complex is a team made to participate in the 2023 Vintage Chorus Battle. I don't really want to pretend that I know what I'm talking about here, but from what I gathered, each team has to cover songs released before 2016, as they get the chance to make a chorus for songs that they grew up with, or something like that. What I do know is that after round 1, God Complex is ranked as the 3rd best team overall, and the 2nd best team in art, which is really neat. Congrats to them. Alright, that was the entirety of Derivakat's YouTube career from the very beginning to now. If you enjoyed it, please like the video and subscribe to Underrated Music, it helps a lot. Thank you for stopping by.
Makes sense, I'm not sure if I'm back on the ground. Fuck. Patience, but I act like I do. Comments, coming back to you. Ain't shit, just a robot to use. Hurt in my chest and got your